All right, very cool. Well, welcome. I've entitled my section, Just Do the Best You Can, based on your observations and what you've been noticing. So I do have a multi-age 1-2 this year, and I'm going to start out with a story, whereas I know Jacqueline started with, or ended with her story. I have this one little kid, we all have him. He's very energetic. He's the one who's hanging upside down on his chairs, running around, always curious, looking at things, asking questions. So I started my one-on-one chats, and he was hanging upside down and doing all these things and running around. And I kept trying to, get questions to him. And he turns around and he says, "Miss Maury, how much longer is this chat going to go on?" And so right away I knew, okay, clearly had not engaged this person at all. And so it really made me sit back and reflect on things that I needed to start doing to help encourage these kiddos to get busy. So I thought, okay, they have to make something. They have to build or design something that they're interested in. So I asked them to build a boat that could float, a simple steam challenge. They could use any materials they wanted, with the only parameters being a 6x6x6. Well, I got him, you guys. It was awesome. The next time I saw him, he wanted to meet with me 3 times. He wanted to show me his improvements. He wanted to make sure that he measured it correctly. He put in all kinds of coins. He made a graph to show me the different coins. He wanted to calculate the total money, and he wanted to have a competition. And then he wanted to write a pirate story. So it just kept growing on this one little idea that, it was about making. So I thought, okay, the bad news is that I learned is you just can't convert the lessons digitally to present online. That's not going to work. You have to change what you're doing in order to get that engagement piece. So I put the design process in action, and I made myself a need statement to define the problem. We, as a team, needed to find ways to help our designers spark their curiosity, engage, and help them learn how to learn, tailored on their interests. So we first realized that this was not formal homeschooling, and it was not authentic distance learning. This was an experiment, but also an opportunity for us to be bold and try some new things and see how they worked, and hopefully keep them so that we can, increase engagement with students when they are back in the 4 walls. We had lots of things to consider. And Joy, you spoke to this right at the beginning about equity. This is huge because not every student has the luxury of all the technology they need. I have families who are sharing one iPad with multiple children. I have EL students who need to make sure that they have things in their language so that they can make sure that they're understanding. We probably all have IEPs and 504s and accommodations that we need to make sure that they can be visually supported. They can have it in a text size that they can see. So all those things have to matter first if we're going to reach every child in our community. The other thing is being patient, not only with ourselves, but with our families. The more and more I was online, I really became in tune with the families and about how childcare is sometimes handled by the older students with the younger students because parents are working. So they can't always be, learning on their own or doing their own thing. Again, sharing that single device. There's uncertainty in some of our households of where they're going to be living. They can't pay the rent. Obviously, we're not going to be evicted, but what does that mean for later? And then just the rhythm of the family dynamics. Is mom here? Is dad here? Who's here? Who's in charge? And, there's some fights that go on. And that's, I try to, not be a counselor for them, but, try to empower them to say, the only move that matters is what you do next. So that's what we can control, how we respond. It's all, make your best choice next. So be patient, not only with your families, but with yourself, because a lot of times I think as teachers, we feel that we're not enough, and our counselors gently reminded us that, yes, you're enough, you're enough for right now. What are your next choices? So things that are really important for us is, to notice the students who are attending and try to scaffold their learning in a way that there's both synchronous and asynchronous opportunities. So we have designed a whole website for our kids I know that some people use Canvas or they might use other platforms, but what we're trying to do is locate everything on one area so that the kids could actually go there and decide what their learning day would look like. So these excursions are synchronous, which means they happen at 10:30 to 11. So if they want to join those, then they can click on them and the link is there. The discovery zone is on their own type learning. We do ask them to reflect simply because we feel that that's the biggest learning point. What have they done well? What are their next steps? What can we do in the future? And then we always have a design challenge for them, and we try to follow the design path so that they can still practice, what's our problem? How would we solve it? That kind of thing. We definitely I want to echo what Jacqueline was saying about developing student agency. We definitely want to empower their voice and give them choice. And a lot of people say, well, they don't know what to choose. And you're right. At this little level, they maybe not know what to choose because they don't know what they don't know. But we can scaffold it in such a way that they can have charge of, what topics within the content they might want to study, or perhaps what strategies could I use to show my learning, or how am I going to show my learning? And so what we did was we provided them with a document that has all the links in it. So if they're going to a morning meeting with their teacher, their LED, they just click on it right here. They don't have to look for it. They don't have to have parent interaction. It's right there for them. There's math challenges. There's Wonder Project, which is a wonderful project I'm going to talk to you about just in a little bit. But it really is focused around their interests, and we got a nice result out of that. So again, trying to scaffold their learning with, a plan, but again, emphasizing go with the rhythm of your family. If this time isn't working for you, then choose something else. It's okay. And I think that's the valuable piece taken away, is that you need to be patient with yourself, and the learning can happen at your own pace and when you can fit it in. But giving the ownership to the students really empowers, oh, well, I need to do that now. I need to do that now. And it becomes so much more organized over time. Big thing, students need to be makers. And so here's this Wonder Project that I gave the kids. So one of my colleagues, we kind of brainstormed it all together, and it was brilliant. We come up with something that you're interested in. And who's going to see the learning? Is it just your family? Are we going to publish it to the web? What are we going to do? And then this whole variety of ideas of how you might present that learning. And then they had to come up with questions, what their supplies were, how they were going to explore their topic. We told them they should pick at least 3 different ways to explore their topic. But what was really valuable with that was the diversity that came from that. We have people studying erasers. We have people wanting to know about San Francisco. We have people who want to know about scorpions. Whatever their interest was, they could still do the learning for writing, research, synthesizing, putting it together, but through what they enjoy. John Spencer's a wonderful guy who is a college professor, and he's coming together with all these new ideas. And this graphic was really interesting to me about all the different ways that maker mindset can develop the skills within our kiddos. So I think making is definitely an important concept. They contribute to their learning and their knowledge. And then, show and tell. And if that's what the kiddo needs to come in and do, we really want to strengthen the bond between home and school. This is a great opportunity to establish that partnership. And it's not about us doing something to their child. It's us creating those learning experiences that will uplift them. We really want students to recognize how they might learn in their own environment, and then share those knowledge and skills, not just with their family or their teacher, but their peers, and even, globally. Please remember that there's no single right way to do any of this. This is truly the design process in action. We have a chance for learners to be a part of developing those learning experiences, which really empowers them and gets their interest. It gives us an opportunity to iterate and improve ideas of instruction. It's like our best version yet. And then just really reflect on what we truly value. And hopefully balance is a key word in there. But thank you.
Love it, Julie. Make sure we get those jazz hands.
Oh, I know.
Right? Love it. So we're going to make our way all the way up through 8th grade to hear perspective and making sure we hear from our students, so their work as well.
We want to hear from. Go ahead.
Yeah, are we going to hear from
Yep.
our TK and 1-2 friends?
I see
Yes.